Hi, I'm Tiffany Velez, and this is my pandemic story. For me, COVID was never about COVID. COVID was about faith and control. When I was very young, my father was not ever really emotionally available to me, and then he ended up leaving. And so out of that sense of abandonment, I just started to control things around me, and I ended up just controlling every issue in my life. That way I was protecting myself from being hurt. And then I ended up getting married, and there was a lot of hurt there. And so I got even more control, trying to be better by controlling myself, controlling my environment. And it became a habit for me just to be in control of all of my situations. So when I finally started feeling a little sick, I really didn't think it was COVID. I just thought, oh, must have the flu or the cold or something like that, and ended up going to the Instacare. And next thing I know, I was in an ambulance on my way to Altaview Hospital. Really thought I'd be there a day, maybe a couple days, but just a day. And the weird thing is that I ended up testing negative for COVID, even though I had all the lung signs that I had it. So as the days went on, I started needing more and more oxygen and started getting a lot more sick. And finally, I was sick enough that they felt like they needed to transfer me to a different hospital and possibly have to be put on the ventilator. On the way to the hospital in the ambulance, I'm laying there thinking, what about my kids? What about my life? Have I got all this organized? What are they gonna do? How am I gonna control this? And then you get rushed into the hospital, and there's all these people asking you questions, hooking you up to machines, hey, do you want your heart restarted? And I'm like, oh my gosh. And then, they're asking me, can we put you on the ventilator? And I was like, no. So they told me, okay, we'll give you another day, but if you get any worse, and so you have to. And I said, okay. And then after I started kind of settling down, I started realizing all this worry and control is out of my hands. If I die tonight, it won't matter, what happens with my kids, that God's got them, I don't have them. And I laid there and realized I have no control. I was just like shocked and amazed, and I'm like, so I finally just gave up all of that control, and I laid there, I turned on my Bible app, and I just let it read to me all night. And then the next morning, after they had retested me for COVID, it finally came back positive, and they were able to treat me, and I got better so quickly. And it's just really shocking to know that before control, I was getting really sick. After giving up control, I started to get better quickly. And after I got almost out of the hospital, I talked to Ira, and we talked about Hebrews 11. And reading through there and seeing the faith they had, and the story of Sarah really caught my attention. She knew she was going to have a baby, but it wasn't happening fast enough. So out of her own control, she thought, I'll make it happen. And it didn't end up well. And so now I realize that with giving God all the control and having faith in His way, that I am going to be better in all areas of my life, and I don't have to be in control. I would advise people that struggle with faith, control, or even fear, just to realize that by letting go and giving up, you're getting better. It's not a matter of how you're going to control your situation or control your future or control your life. If you just let go, there's such relief and such release of pressure that that you don't have to be protective, because God's got a better way.